Good evening, I'm Emma Jane Vere and this is Television Tonga News. In the headlines, Tonga represented at the 2013 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Colombo. Leimoni Moala from Maufanga announces the 2013 Ducks for Ahupanulolo Technical Institute, and Tonga to evaluate its progress on sustainable development in different areas. These and more stories, including news from the Pacific, sports, world and the weather information later on in this bulletin. Let's take a look at the news in detail. The Honourable Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs and Trade, Lord Duivano, joins leaders in Colombo, Sri Lanka today for the 2013 Commonwealth Heads of Government Meeting Summit, or CHOGM. Every 2 years, Commonwealth leaders meet at CHOGM to discuss global and Commonwealth issues. Such events are important for Tonga to renew its relations with the participating Commonwealth countries and revitalise its development priorities and commitment to the Commonwealth. We're joined for Taiwhanga'a with the details.
The Government of Sri Lanka, in collaboration with the Commonwealth Secretariat, organises this year's JACM with the theme Growth with Equity, Inclusive Development. Tonga endorses this theme as it aligns with the government's overall vision to develop and promote a just, equitable and progressive society to which the people of Tonga will enjoy good health, peace and prosperity in life. The opening ceremony for JACM will be on Friday, November 15th. This is followed by executive and bilateral meetings of Commonwealth leaders and heads of governments from November 15th until the 17th. His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, a representative of the head of the Commonwealth, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, will officially open the summit and the Nilam Pakuna Mahintha Rajapaksa Theatre. The Secretary-General of the Commonwealth, His Excellency Kamala Sharma, will host a meeting with Commonwealth small state foreign ministers to focus on particular challenges faced by these small states, including Tonga, as they move towards their development goals and exploring avenues for the Commonwealth to continue partnering and assisting in. The Prime Minister has invited to join other heads of government in roundtable discussions tomorrow during the Commonwealth Business Forum and conduct bilateral talks with other leaders. This is a good opportunity for Tonga to consolidate and foster stronger partnership with prospective business sectors and provide a platform for Tonga to pave the way for investment with other Commonwealth and international business community. The next JACM will be held in Mauritius in 2015. For Television Tonga News, I'm Fatai Whainga'a.
Tonga's relationships with its foreign partners, namely New Zealand and Australia, will not be affected by the continuous grants it receives from China. The statement was made by the Acting Prime Minister, Honourable Sami Vaipulu, in an interview with Television Tonga News this morning. Here's Fatai Whainga'a again with that report.
The Acting Prime Minister, Sami Vaipulu, made the remark in regards of a multi-million-dollar assistance from China to Tonga and the Pacific region. The recent assistance to the region is a $1 billion concessionary loan announced by the Chinese Vice Premier Wang Ying during a high-level meeting in China. The meeting was attended by the Honourable Prime Minister Lord Duivano with high-ranking officials from the government. After the big announcement, Jenny Hayward-Jones of the Melanesian Program at the Lowy Institute for Foreign Policy in Australia told Back News that China's aid will create competition among donors, whereas the region needs to be more careful. But the Acting Prime Minister disagreed with any impact of China's aid program to Tonga. China's aid has never and will never impact Tonga's relationships with its other donor partners. Other donors have not cut off Tonga and from their aid programs, and Tongans should appreciate it. He also spoke of China's initiatives towards its aid program to Tonga and the region. I cannot make a comment on behalf of other Pacific nations, but in Tonga, I wish to assure everyone that China's aid to Tonga is to improve the people's standard of living, the infrastructure, and the economy. The Acting Prime Minister also confirmed that the Republic of the People of China's aid to Tonga has nothing to do with the increase of its investors and businesses in the kingdom.
Leimoni Moala from Maofanga has been announced as the Dux of Aobanlolo Technical Institute for 2013. He was presented with a roaming trophy among other awards this afternoon during the graduation ceremony, which was held at the International Dateline Hotel. Fadai Whainga'a has the details.
Leimoni Moala received his awards from the guest of honour, the Honourable Minister of Education and Training, Dr. Ana Tauwhi'urungaki. Also in attendance was the Australian High Commissioner to Tonga, His Excellency Brett Eldam, and the Bishop for the Diocese of Tonga and Niue, Soanepatita Paini Mafi. In a speech from the Education Minister, she told the graduates this is the beginning in getting a job and a chance to become a good example or role model to the community.
That love is everything. It is the key to life, and its influence moves the world. It is my hope that love will be one of the fuel food that you will choose to pack on one of the essentials of that backpack that you will take on that journey through life. It is also my hope that in your journey, you will also remember that others are also traveling with you, and that you will take time, even amidst your own challenges and aspirations, to ensure that they too would have a safe, joyful, and prosperous journey. I wish you all a very blessed Christmas and a happy New Year, full of His love and grace.
The Dux Leimoni Moala thanked his parents, teachers, fellow students, and many others who supported and helped him over the 2 years of studying at the Aobanlolo Technical Institute.
Remember, this is not the end, but another beginning. We graduates are now freely sent into the world to live out what we have been trained to do.
During the graduation ceremony, other awards were presented to students, such as the Leadership Award. This was presented to Te Vita Palavlala Kava, amongst other prizes.
Kingdom Travel Centre Limited is the new agent for Air New Zealand Airlines and Tonga. They replaced Air New Zealand's former agent, Foreign Travel. The Tongan government was the shareholder of the Foreign Travel before it sold its shares to Samoa. Kingdom Travel Centre Limited was established in January this year before officially becoming an agent for Air New Zealand Airlines in March. Meanwhile, the acting Prime Minister, Sami Vaipulu, hopes that Tonga's economic growth will experience a boost in order to help government buy back its shares from foreign shipping and foreign travel. Mr. Vaipulu says government sold its shares as these two companies were operating on a loss. Tonga is vulnerable in every aspect and not just to natural disasters. This is part of a speech made by the acting Prime Minister, Sami Vaipulu, as he opened the first training workshop on the Vulnerability Resilience Profile, or VRP. Sini Latu was there and filed this report.
Vulnerability Resilience Profile is an analytical framework to help small island development states monitor and evaluate their progress towards building resilience. The acting Prime Minister, Sami Vaipulu, voiced the government's appreciation of the workshop, which will help ensure sustainable development for the kingdom.
With this training, I'm sure the Ministry of Finance is anxious to learn a lot from this. And with the support, government offers its support to all the programs, even the Barbados program of action for small island development states, including the UN commitment to implement the Mauritius strategy for implementation. More importantly, this training would identify the appropriate policy in response to address our vulnerabilities. We are not only vulnerable to disasters, we are vulnerable to everything. Economically and socially, we are very, very vulnerable. And we are committed to work together with UNDSA to try and see how best we can mitigate and strengthen our resilience. and capacity to achieve sustainable development.
In the remarks from United Nations Division Economic and Social Affairs, Amelia Kinahoi Siamomua, the VRP aims at guiding international related organizations to achieve sustainable development.
Small island developing states, which includes Tonga, 38 members are UN members, and there are 52 seats around the world. They believe that sustainable development is primarily a national responsibility, but also for SIDS to succeed, given their vulnerabilities, the dimensions of economic, environment, and social. There is a paradigm shift that these must be given specific expression in an integrated approach for small island developing states like Tonga.
The VRP methodology or tool is based in 7 countries, including Tonga and Vanuatu from the Pacific. This pilot project is funded by the European Union. The training workshop is held at the International Dateline Hotel from the 13th to the 15th. For Television Tonga News, I'm Sinila Do.
The New Zealand immigration continues to search for a 24-year-old Tongan woman in New Zealand. Helen Edwardina V from Whasmoeafi is still on the run in New Zealand. The New Zealand immigration appeals to the public for any information on her whereabouts. This was confirmed by Tonga's Police Commissioner Grant O'Fee. A warrant was issued on October 14th for Helen V, who's alleged of theft, falsification of documents and embezzlement while she was employed at the Westpac Bank of Tonga. It's understood that she left for New Zealand July 23rd before a complaint was made against her July 29th. She's accused to have embezzled around 10,000 pa'anga. It's alleged she transferred money from a Westpac client's account into her own account and withdrew the money. She was also alleged of authorizing herself to withdraw money from another Tongan client of the bank who resides overseas. The 19th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework to Convention on Climate Change, or UNFCCC, is underway in Warsaw, Poland. The Pacific region has high hopes for their voice to be heard on this international platform and for action to be taken to help lower global temperatures. We'll join Sinilatu with that report.
Findings of the 5th assessment report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change were presented by the chairman of the IPCC, Dr. Rashandra Pachauri, strengthening the call for urgent action. According to the overview, it is extremely likely that human influence has been the dominant cause of the observed warming since the mid-20th century. All 14 Pacific Island countries that are members of the UNFCCC are represented at the Global Conference on Climate Change, including Tonga's delegation, which is the Minister of Lands, Survey, Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change, Lord Ma'afu, the CEO Aspeli Palaki, and other officers. Although the Pacific region contributes to less than 1% of the world's total greenhouse gas emissions, they are amongst the most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Meanwhile, the Alliance of Small Island States asked the international community today to reflect on whether it is living up to the commitments made to each other over 2 decades ago with the establishment of the UNFCCC to tackle and find solutions to climate change. The 14 Pacific Islands represented at the UNFCCC COP19 negotiate at the International Climate Change Conference together as part of the Alliance of Small Island States, AOSIS, a coalition of 44 states and observers from small island and low-lying coastal countries. AOSIS is calling for progress to be made at this COP on a legally binding protocol under the UNFCCC to be adopted no later than 2015 to keep global warming well below 1.5 degrees. This protocol must ensure there is no backsliding in the type, nature, or ambition of mitigation commitments. This year's conference runs from the 11th to the 22nd of November.
The residents of Hihifo in the Hapai Islands are experiencing inconsistent water supply in the area for 3 days now. The water problem has affected operations at Niue Hospital and many more homes on the island. Television Tonga News correspondent on the island, Moimoi Whakahua, says the problem has resulted in some of the patients being discharged from the hospital, only keeping 2 patients who are in a critical condition. The problem began on Sunday and the situation is still the same up until today. Moimoi Whakahua says up to 2,000 residents in the area are also affected by the inconsistent water supply. It's believed that the problem stems from a technical problem with the water pumps, which distributes water from the Tonga Water Board in Hapai to various homes. Meanwhile, Hapai has not experienced any rainfall in the past months, causing water tanks to diminish and worsen the problem. The Television Tonga News correspondent has made attempts for a comment from the head of Tonga Water Board's Hapai branch, but to no avail. However, the acting manager of Tonga Water Board, Elisiva Tapueluelu, told Radio Tonga News that they've sent equipment to the island to resolve the problem and apologise for any inconvenience it may have caused. Tonga and other members of the International Diabetes Federation, or IDF, is hosting various events to mark the World Diabetes Day tomorrow, Thursday, November 14th. The theme for this year is Protect Our Future, with special attention made on children and young people. The Ministry of Health's Diabetes Unit says it's dedicating a whole week to mark the day because of the wide scale of the problem of diabetes in the kingdom. The Health Ministry marked the day with a combined church service on Sunday at the Free Constitutional Church of Tonga. With focus made on children, the Diabetes Unit has visited various primary schools to record activities aimed at promoting healthier lifestyles and better eating habits. This is to help minimize diabetes. This includes aerobics and exercise activities and planting vegetable gardens, among other initiatives. A walk for diabetes is also organized for tomorrow morning at 5:30 from the Hahake bus station at Vuna Wharf to the Doliki Naval Base. The annual general meeting for the Diabetes Association will also be held at the Basilica Conference Room tomorrow afternoon and is open for all supporters to attend. Programs for the World Diabetes Day will be broadcast on Radio Tonga and Television Tonga tonight and tomorrow. That's local news. Pacific is next.